Hello, everyone, and welcome back to First Impressions. I didn't think I would do one of these so soon, considering that these are supposed to be meant for episodes I'm really looking forward to, or just as we talked about the episode 200. But here we are talking about a matchup I'm really excited for, like Blade versus Buffy. This is a First Impressions video that's going up today. Tomorrow, sometime, you will see the reaction to this full episode, especially considering I am a fan of both these two, but let's talk about what we do and do not know so far about Blade versus Buffy. The big one is that this is the ISMAHAWK episode. It is their third live action fight of Death Battle, their last one being back in season 10 with Jason versus Bucky, or Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. This is their third Marvel character that they have done, which is kind of an interesting look. And I'm genuinely happy that ISMAHAWK took Sam's advice from the Ballad Banter and said, yes, we will do Blade versus Buffy. This is one that has a lot of people intrigued from what we've seen and heard. I've seen people say they don't know a lot about these two, but based off their previews, a lot of people are like, holy shit, these guys are insane. Just from the title of Buffy's preview alone is 128 novels. That's not a joke. Buffy is still kind of prevalent to this day. The novels aren't talked about as much because Buffy's fan base is a lot quieter and they kind of keep to themselves, which is completely understandable, but they are really cool people. I've hung out with a few of them. And people seeing Blade for the first time are just really enamored by everything he's done, because a lot of people's first exposure is mostly the Wesley Snipes movie, so it's been interesting to see what people's reaction to the comics were. The fight preview is really awesome. It's got great choreography, it's got great action, it's got great stunts. We are going to take a look in the description down below for other details about this, but let's start with the main two on screen. I ask once again, as per usual, to forgive me for butchering any of these names. I am trying my best. First, we have Fiction as Blade, and I think he looks really awesome, and I have seen some of the stunts this guy has done as shared by Robuscus, and I think he has Blade's movements down pretty damn well, especially with the choreography team that ISMAHAWK has. I think he does a really good job of what we do see so far, and I'm looking forward to see what he does fully in this fight, and it's going to be really cool to see what he does. As for Buffy's actress, let me just double check the name. Erin Maloney. Forgive me again for mispronouncing your name. She looks dead accurate to Buffy or Sarah Michelle Gellar, and from what we've seen, she can really keep up with this. According to Swift over on the Discord server side of things, she was in a lot of Darmon content, so I don't know if he does a lot of fighting stuff there. But you know what? From what we do see in this trailer, I think she does look and act the part as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or Buffy Summers, whatever you wish to call her. Now that we talked about what we've seen in the animation and what we've seen so far, we can actually dive into the description of this down below. Let's take a look-see. First of all, we have Fiction's hysterical Mar Mulroney, Mari Takahashi. This is one I've actually known. She used to be a big member of Smosh and Smosh Games. She used to go by Atomic Mari. She was a ballet dancer, and she has been on ISMAHAWK projects before, like when they did their own version of Power Rangers vs. Voltron. Mari's awesome, and I think she's going to kill it with whatever role she is lined up for. And then we have Anastasia Lutz. I don't fully know if these are stunt people or if these like crew members that are both allies of both Blade and Buffy. It's possible it's both, but they are playing a somewhat prominent role considering that they are starring in this. So it's going to be interesting to see what actual role both Mari and Natasha do have. We also know who the research team has assigned based off character researchers. It's going to be a battle of Jukum versus Speedy. Jukum most likely representing Blade and Speedy representing Buffy. I like when these two go head-to-head. They always have really good episodes when they go head-to-head. Speaking of that, let's go down to the ISMAHAWK side of things further down, because ISMAHAWK have a lot of people. Danny Shepard's directing this, and there is a lot of work to go into this. If you take a look, there is Cam first, second AC, B Cam. There's a lot of things going on. They also had an on-site editor to edit as the fight was going on. That is pretty damn cool to see. And Angela Domenico was the head of makeup department. Really cool that they got him. Tattoo design application is done by Ned Noodle, excuse me. Pretty cool. And the hairstylist is Misty Cree. again, I think with how they look in live action, they are phenomenal with how they look and how they are taking this in. Really cool to see what they do here. So editing the fight itself was both Annie Vollner and Danny Shepard. Pretty damn cool to see. Again, it's just awesome to have Danny back on the show, so awesome. The final thing we're going to go over here is the soundtrack called Neon Ash, and Werewolf Media is making another soundtrack. I imagine it's going to have some elements of both Blade and Buffy's main theme tunes. Blade specifically from the first movie, and Buffy from her TV shows. And probably give off a spooky era vibe. This may be a more cinematic piece, like Red Eye was, but that is a-okay with me because I think the selling point of Blade versus Buffy is the hand-to-hand combat, as well as the research that goes into this. I stutter at that because this is a close debate, regardless of what side of the coin you're on. Whether you're on Team Blade, whether you're on Team Buffy, this is a debate that is extremely debatable, despite the fact that most people aren't too familiar with either of these two. You'll be genuinely surprised. Overall, my first impressions of Blade vs. Buffy is looking like it's going to be one of the best of the season. It's the top 5. Speaking of which, both a thank you and a screw you to Robuscus for part of this is my stupidity, I guess, but he leaked how long the episode was going to be, and according to his math, this episode is one of the top 5 longest episodes of Death Battle ever. Let that sink in. We had Kratos versus Astra when we last talked about that as the second longest episode ever. Blade vs. Buffy is just under that. Now, obviously, it might just be the YouTube time, so they have to save a minute for ads and everything, so it is likely that it would be shorter if they didn't have to, but still, a near half-an-hour episode. And for people wondering if that makes sense, again, refer to Buffy's 128 novels. Yes, it does. They'll have to go in depth about Buffy's research. The fight's also a pretty long one, I would imagine, as well as the post-analysis explaining who actually wins, and then of course your next time teaser for whatever that may be. Overall, this episode's looking really fun, and I'm excited to see what happens, but let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section, and who do you have in Blade vs. Buffy, because I want to see predictions before I do my reaction tomorrow to see and kind of gauge what happens. With that being said, thank you folks for watching. I will see you all later.